What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in the last video, we unveiled our Sleeper Civic build, which we are getting ready to embark on right now. And the problem is that you can see this thing's sitting on the lift and we don't have any engines. So at least there's not an engine in the engine bay currently. So we did a poll in our VIP group and asked you guys, because they're basically the ones who are deciding the fate of this build. And we asked Turbo B Series or NAK Series with some nitrous. And as of right now, the poll is about 80% towards a Turbo B Series. So what me and Eric just did within the last hour is we just went ahead and pulled, this is a B18 B1. So this is a good running and driving engine and transmission. This actually came in a Honda Civic that I purchased within the last month. You know, I guess the way I work is certain things I'll buy. Like I'll buy a car and I don't necessarily know what I'm gonna do with it. And then something else happens. And then now there's like two pieces of this like puzzle. And then as I go, the puzzle pieces just kind of fall together. I make sense of it. And then now we're building a Sleeper Civic with this B18 B1 with a turbo kit on it. So right now what we're going to do is go ahead and stick this thing in the engine bay just for a quick mock-up, kind of take a look at it, see what it looks like, and then obviously we're going to get this thing pulled out because we have a lot of work to do to the engine bay as well. So it's not in bad shape, but I definitely think it could use some spicing up. Probably just get it cleaned up and just like an OEM, paint it like the OEM color, just respray it, make it super, super nice. Because the plan with this car is on the outside, we want it to kind of look stock and, you know, kind of clean, but not necessarily look like a race car. But when you pop the hood, I just want it to be like, wow, dang, that thing looks like it's gonna be really fast. So essentially, we're just gonna stick this thing in there, throw a couple bolts in it, get some mock-up pictures of it, so at least that way we can kind of post some stuff and kind of advertise what we're gonna be doing with this thing, or at least show you guys what we're doing with it, because this is our VIP giveaway for this month. You have the chance at taking home this car or a $5,000 build where we ship your car right here to Motion Auto and we actually work on your car with a $5,000 budget. So if you want the chance of taking home this car or the $5,000 build or $5,000 in cash, join the VIP program. I think we got like 20 new members off of the last thing. So your chances of winning this thing or a build on your car are honestly pretty good. But we got a lot of work to do. This giveaway ends at the end of the month, and it's the beginning of the month. So we got to get working on it. We got to do some cool stuff with it. So first thing we're gonna do, stick this thing in it, and then we're gonna take it right back out. How silly is that?
Not silly.
You don't think it's silly? I think it's gonna look nice sitting in there. So yeah, this little jack really helps out with it. So we're just gonna go up with the old bin pack lift, get this thing in there. The engine is sitting in there, and it's just crazy how fast this thing actually looks like a car. When you could literally take one car that's running and driving, and almost within 3 hours probably drive the other one away with the whole other engine and tranny. So man, I'm kind of torn because I really like the idea of the bottom mount turbo and being able to run like AC and power steering and all that other stuff. But right now, just popping the bay and seeing that turbo sit there, what do you think?
I love it.
That's like,
top mounts are just sick. It's
just kind of like, it's turbo Honda. Really questionable. So this is a Borg Warner. I think it's like an S300 and something. So it's actually a pretty big turbo. And with this thing on the backside, look at that. Look at that freaking windmill for a turbine wheel. So I'm not quite sure. Obviously this thing would be really spicy with that turbo, but maybe it wouldn't spool for a long time.
7K.
Yeah, so I don't know, which would keep the rods in the engine, but it kind of depends. Especially, you know, up here in Colorado at altitude, you know, we're about 5,000 feet. So I don't know how great it's gonna spool with this, but there's only one way to find out, is stick it on there, see what it does, and then go from there. But yeah, everything in this bay, I mean, it just went pretty quick, but I think the plan is you can see somebody hammered something right here. We're gonna fix that dent. We're gonna clean up the bay, because again, I want you to pop the hood on this thing and just be like, damn, that's a nice freaking Honda, versus popping the hood and being like, man, that's kind of gross. So make it look super presentable under the hood, and we'll see about the rest of the car later. So we're gonna roll this thing back a little bit, take some pictures, and then I guess go from there.
Look at that. B series, turbo. Man. Oh, look at that grease and grime though. Look at that. We gotta do something about that. All right, let's get this motor out. All right, guys, now that I got the B-Series motor pulled out, we're gonna go ahead and just get all the mounts and everything out of this engine bay. Just get it ready, prep for paint, get this thing looking good.
All right, so Eric did a great job of getting this engine cleaned up today. So look at that thing. Freaking looks really nice. Tranny looks really good. Engine looks really good. This thing runs really good as well. We did a leak down compression test on it. Everything checked out. So got the engine bay torn apart on this thing, and we were getting ready to basically, I think we were just gonna pull the subframe out of it. I think that makes the most sense. Put it up on the dollies, roll it in the paint booth and paint it. But then started looking around at a couple things, and they actually cut the brake lines. So, or not the brake lines, the fuel lines. So you can see right there, that is the fuel lines. So they cut those, which isn't too big of a deal. They also cut them here in the back. So where is that? Yeah, you can see right there, fuel line right there. They went ahead and they cut that. I guess that, you know, that's not too courteous. But the other thing that they cut was, in order to install this rear diff, you have to cut out a little piece of that subframe right there. So it's actually not a little piece of the subframe, it's that whole little C channel, which we could build that back. We could bend something, weld some stuff back in there. You know, then we need to get a fuel tank. So we got to get a fuel tank to put back in here, because obviously they were planning on doing a fuel cell, and that was the whole reason for them doing that. But yeah, so all-wheel drive stuff was going to come out. Everything else was going to come out. And then I got a marketplace. And there is a pretty much the same exact car. It's a 98 silver 4-door sedan. It's actually an EX, which means that it has the sunroof, and it's a factory 5-speed manual car, so the gauge cluster and everything already doesn't have like the park reverse neutral drive stuff in it. And I think potentially just a little bit of a nicer car to start with, so we kind of paused working on this one today. Also, it's all one color. He said it has very, very light hail damage, which this car has, I would say, heavy hail damage on it. And again, the whole point of this thing is to be a sleeper, but you guys know me, it's hard for me to kind of hold back and not want to just go crazy with it. So yeah, engine is good, pretty much ready to go back in there. We need to obviously tap the oil pan and do all that stuff for the turbo, you know, the feed and the drain and all that stuff. But I might as well go look at what stuff this guy has. He also has a ton of other Honda parts. He has a GSR head, GSR block, forged rods. He has a B16 head, B16 block, a GSR tranny, and he just has a ton of Honda parts. So I'm gonna talk with him about some of that. Maybe we'll make a deal. Maybe I'll get a little video of that car, but we might be transitioning to another shell. I'm not sure yet, but that's probably gonna be it for this video, guys. I appreciate you guys watching. Let me know what you think of this whole Sleeper Civic build, and you gotta let me know. Are you going to take home the Sleeper Civic, or are you going to take home the $5,000 build on your car or the cash? But I guess you can't really make that decision unless you are a VIP. So yeah, if you guys haven't joined yet, click the link down in the description, and see you guys shortly.